When looking for the king of podcasts, you're at the wrong channel.
Well, excuse me!
Looking for good ideas for life? You're far from good hands.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
If you think the listener is always right, you're far from the right place.
Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works!
Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, but a rebel by choice.
Are you threatening me?
If you want a host that floats between love and madness,
and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite. Looking forward to a little afternoon delight.
then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Within the gaming world, there are your general gamers, but then there are those that enjoy the dark underbelly of gaming. If you're one of those that enjoy the dark underbelly of gaming, we certainly got the place to send you. Scorpion Lair Games. That's right, Scorpion Lair Games is the creators of the true crime hit Killers, the card game. Let's not forget they also have Killers Clothing Company, the profiler game, and things like the 5-Minute Murder channel on YouTube. And we certainly can't forget the new book that is certainly a hit, Beyond the Headliners, True Crimes, Myths, and Legends. Make sure you visit Jeff and the Scorpion Lair Games on Facebook and everywhere today.
Hi, I'm Nicole Cinaglia, and I'm so happy to be here on Crazy Train Radio.
Hey folks, it's your least favorite host in the podcast world, Croc, Jonathan Steele. And boy, do we have a good one for you today.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, really excited about this guest because it's not often, and at this point, the 13 years I've been doing this, 13 and a half almost, that we come across somebody from my neck of the woods, even though there is a big outreach in the entertainment community from the Philadelphia, Jersey, Northeast area here. But this next guest has certainly made a name for herself in the independent film community, often playing edgy and challenging characters with depth and charisma. She also grew up having the love of musical theater and acting. Rumor has it she started acting it in the first grade. But once a performer, always a performer. But she is Philadelphia born and bred, South Philly girl. How can you not love this? But I first learned about her in a little 2012 film called Camp Dread, which also stars Felissa Rose, Eric Roberts, And let's not forget friend of the show, B. Harrison Smith, who directed it. But this next guest, and I apologize for the butchering, but her name is Nicole Cinaglia. I apologize, Nicole. I am so sorry. But let's go ahead and welcome Nicole to the show. Nicole, welcome. How are you?
So, Nicole, how are you doing? And
Oh,
thank you for taking the time.
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Right on. So, full disclosure, I first learned about you in a little picture called Camp Dread, which stars which stars folks like Eric Roberts, Danielle Harris, directed by Harrison Smith, who's another Philly area guy. So, we'll start there. What would you say your experience from Camp Dread was? You got, such a unique cast and crew, but like I said, you have folks like Eric and Danielle and Harrison and all involved as well. So what was that like for you?
It was awesome. Being a 23-year-old kid and being on a set of that size, we had so much fun. I was actually talking about it with some friends that were in it like recently, and I was like, was that PA or New Jersey? Like we couldn't like figure out where we were in the woods. But it was fun. I never went away to camp. And we all stayed in the cabins and like had like a full like camp experience. It was awesome. Everybody was amazing to work with. It was just we had a lot of fun.
But I'm sure it made you appreciate, the little things like running water for a shower and if you did the
We
full camp experience.
We did. So like, on the camp sites like that, it was a community shower. So you had to like travel to the bunk or the cabin that had the showers in it. And sometimes, depending when and we were the only ones there at that time. And depending when you were like done shooting and you had blood on you, had to go, like it was a little bit creepy walking to the shower, showering in there with all the curtains, in the middle of the night. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It's a fun little movie to watch. Absolutely. So if people get a chance to check it out, please do
Whew,
so.
it came out in 2012. We shot 2010, so we're talking, 25 years old. My God.
Yeah, I know. It makes us feel old, don't it?
20,
When we
50,
think
sorry,
about it.
15
Now,
years old.
so, it's funny, and I should have realized this when you personally reached out because we had set this up for a different time, but Nicole had reached out through the website. She didn't have my direct contacts. And I should have realized with the area code on
Yes.
her phone. But we were talking, a couple days going into this, and I didn't realize you were Philly born and bred.
Mhm.
So, first of all, what was it like for you? How do you think being from the Philly area shaped you as the person you are today?
Um, my parents were both born and raised in South Philly, and they moved to, yeah, Delaware County, when they were getting like after they got married in the late 80s. And they just instilled in me and my brothers just like true like grit, like, work hard. They taught us the value of a dollar early on, and don't take any shit from anybody, get a backbone type thing. And I don't know, I've always been a sensitive being from a young age, which I've learned to appreciate in my, older years. But it's all relative, right? And I was a tough little cookie from a young age, and that's all still a part of me, and also like embracing the sensitive parts of me as well. So it's been really cool. Like I wouldn't change it for the world. Like we're full Italian American. Um, we love to eat and we love to laugh and have a good time, and um, I don't know, it's just really shaped me as a person, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Now, on the professional side of things, and some will debate this, but I think Philly in this region does a lot within the industry. But some would also say that Philadelphia may have a niche market on acting, production, and all that stuff. What do you say? Where does Philadelphia in the region fall from the business side of things?
I would say we are niche. You know, anything that's filmed in here, they try to keep the dialects, they try to keep it Philly born and raised, and I appreciate that because the culture here is beautiful. You know, some of the Eagle fans, I know we get a bad rap, but as far as
I don't understand why, but
I mean, that's going to be anywhere, but you know, it's like we've been, you know, endowed with that, like we're the worst. But I think like, you know, anybody who's a diehard fan for a team of their choosing, you know, they're oh, you know, everybody can get a little crazy sometimes. So uh but I don't know, like anything that films here, they always try to embrace the culture, I think, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
absolutely. And I'll say this about the Eagle fans. There, people like to from outside the area, and I'm not going to dive into it. That's not what why we're here. But people like to still reference the throwing snowballs at Santa Claus. But they don't realize that was only the end of the story. But like I said, there's look it up. There's actually a full story to that. But you seem to have made a name for yourself in the independent film community. You often played edgy and challenging characters with depth and charisma. Would you say it is because of your personality and where you're from and all that you just talked about, or was it what seemed to fit you as a character when you
Mm,
were working?
that's a good question. I think myself, like bringing me to a role has something to do with it. And I think it's both. Like I think it's both. It's both like where I come from and also how I show up. And yeah, like something even in my mind where I'd want to go out for a part and I think like I'm just right for that, but then I will get like the psychopath or the killer or the quiet like you know crazy person. Um but it's all cool. Like I played so many cool roles and you know my background and who I am definitely helped.
So you have, and I'm sorry I'm bouncing all over the place, but
That's my brain too.
yeah. Like I made a joke to her yesterday when we were going back and forth, just shooting the shit. And I said I always make the joke that I have the circus monkey brain, or I
hmm
have the monkey in the cymbals.
hmm
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
shows when we in times like this that you can see the cymbals are really going
Yep.
quick in my head.
Gears are
But
turning and it's like,
yeah,
yeah.
things. You think
I
I'm
mean,
going
naturally,
left, but
you
I
might be
go
like,
right.
I'm so sorry, I'm all over the place, but it's like, you know, I feel like anymore, it's just, I think everybody's all over. I think the technology just makes us nuts, right? Like, it's just so many things going on.
Yeah. So I can't blame my parents anymore, I guess, then for doing
Right.
that.
Dang it.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
a coat.
Get to a certain point, you got to let it go. No. But you have multiple types of credits on your resume, whether it be the acting, writing, producing, directing. Was there something that you enjoy more, but also what is more challenging? And the reason I'm asking this is because there are times I know directed and acted on a project such as Porcelain, And I mean, it's great to wear a hat on one thing. Okay, I'm directing these scenes, I'm doing this, this is how I'm taking the story. But then, oh, wait, I got to get on the other side of the camera and do a scene or two. It's like, I mean, so it could be the circus monkey brain and
Yeah,
which direction you're supposed to be in.
definitely. Um, I would say I love acting for first and foremost. That's the love of my life, right? And I naturally am like I have a lot of type A in me, so the producing comes naturally and I'm good at it. And I would say the most challenging would be directing, but I also love that a lot. It's like a new challenge. It was a new challenge in my life, but I really enjoyed it. And it's just opened up my world as an actor just because you're all the pieces, right? You're in charge of all the pieces. And so I started getting into coloring. I started getting into camera. I started getting into sound. And it's just made me that much more of a better actor, knowing all the parts. And I will say, like the one of the biggest challenges doing it all, in Porcelain, I was producing and I was hosting at the house. I was, directing and acting in. And so you come out of that, like you came out of war and you're like, oh, hey, like what did I just do? But you also realize what you're capable of as a human being. And it's just, a job well done, like good for you type thing. And I was proud of myself, for accomplishing it. Do I want to do that ever again in all the capacities? I don't know. It would have to be the right thing for me at this point in time. Um, but yeah, I just really appreciate all the opportunities and experiences I've had so far.
Would you say doing so many other jobs and learning the other perspectives of things, maybe, I don't know if the word sympathy would be the word because I'm,
Mm. Like
but yeah,
compassion.
for the actors, because you hear directors and producers talk about, like, say during auditions and stuff, that they really like this male or female actor. But I like to consider a movie or TV show, say, a puzzle.
Mhm.
And Nicole, for example, would make a perfect mane on the picture of a horse or the puzzle of a horse. But she's presenting more of the tail.
Mm.
But yet, you know what I'm saying? You don't fit in that piece. But yet the next project comes along with these people and you go, hey, that Nicole, you know what? She would fit here in
Mhm.
this piece of the puzzle on this next project, whether it be her personality or her range or whatever the case is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So would you say you have, I guess, sympathy or whatever? Because sometimes that can be difficult, that you really like this person, but they don't fit in that piece that you're trying to, in the story you're trying to tell.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all relevant. And I definitely hear what you're saying, like the sympathy and compassion for it. It's not easy what we do, any of the parts. And just being an actor is so like thankless sometimes because you do so much for the career and a lot behind the scenes, a lot of money out, to do what you love to do. And it's a lot of rejection. And you can't dwell on like, why didn't I get that? Like I was perfect for it. There's a million other things going on that you have no control over and that have nothing to do with you. Like as a person, as your talent, none of that. It's just like I wanted my girlfriend in the role, so she got the part. But next time, I'll think of Nicole because my girlfriend was a pain in the butt on this. Like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um, and that's just like a very small example, but you know why people get chosen in the roles. There's just so many different factors. You can never like pinpoint. You can't get hung up on it as an actor. Like it is what it is. On to the next one. Keep it grinding. Keep it moving forward.
Have you ever gotten hung up on things? And how soon would you say in your career you developed, say, that tough skin that, hey, you know what? It didn't work this time, but there might be three other projects coming up that would work for me.
I would say probably in the last like 10 years, I would say that I started getting that thick skin. I'm so sensitive. Like in the beginning, I remember I was like, I had the lead in a feature film, and then they were like, actually, we want like this is what happened. We want the guy's girlfriend in it. He wants his girlfriend in it, the writer. Okay, so I'm out. And then it went to somebody else completely. And I was like devastated because it was probably like my third feature film I was doing at the time. And I was like, I'm done. Like, I quit. Like, it felt like someone broke up with me. I was heartbroken. And then, little things happened and brought me back through and in. And I was like, okay, I can let that go. It doesn't have anything to do with me, you know?
So I was reading an article. Somebody did an interview with you a couple years ago, and we know everything on the internet is true, 100%.
Yeah.
But you were talking about Felissa Rose and Felissa bringing you on board for Killer Rose. So, for those who aren't familiar with Killer Rose, what was that? And can you talk about your relationship with Felissa? Because she is certainly a gem. And I'm saying that nicely because, and folks, I'm not being negative, but when you deal with Felissa, you have to be 100% of the time. Am I wrong on that?
You have to, sorry, you cut out a little bit. I missed the middle of that. You have to be something all the time.
Yeah, when you're with Felissa,
Mhm.
and I mean this with all due respect because I love her to death. She's a gem. But you have to be on your toes 100% of the time because you never know with Felissa. You're doing a Fred Astaire dance for sure. Am I wrong with that? Just she's a bubbly person and she's
Yeah. Yes. So I love working with Alyssa, and maybe I'm like the same type of person too, because like when we get together like that, we just are go, 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 and like, playing off each other, having fun. We get wild, we get crazy. We have a great time, and I love working off of her. So I met Felissa on Camp Dread. And so I've known her a really long time. And the beauty of working with Felissa and the same crowd, I was just talking to, it's so funny that I was just talking about this with other friends too. It's like you want to bring your people with you. And I would say Felissa has always tried to do that with me. She would have a music video, or she would have this series they're trying to get up off the ground there, and she would throw my name in the hat. And I appreciate that so much. So we've worked on a lot of different projects together. And I'm also, I think, that energy too, especially around Felissa, like, and we just have a ball. We have a lot of fun. Killer Rose, which is now called Cold Blooded Killers. So if you go to watch it, it's under Cold Blooded Killers. That was a whole thing trying to get that finished and out. But we played sisters, and we had this like awesome like around a table scene where we're like dueling off, and it was a rad. I had a lot of fun on that shoot. It's a rad project.
Yeah, and even when you're not working and you're just when it's supposed to be downtime, Felissa is going 120 miles an hour with her
Right.
energy, and that like you said, that's just her. As far
Yes.
as,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's funny. I didn't even get a chance to see her. I was recently at a show in Kentucky
Cool.
because she does a lot of conventions, and I didn't even get
Yeah.
a chance to go see her because how nuts it was. But never mind. I won't tell those stories. Those are stories over over a beer.
Okay. Well, I'll hold you to that.
Right on. So, obviously, when prepping for work, I read that you like to take a lot of notes and write stuff down. Is that the biggest part of you trying to prep for a role or directing or whatever you might be doing?
Yes, I'm a very visual person and I'm very old school where like I still have like a paper calendar, you know.
Me too.
Yeah, so I'm a very hands-on. I want the pieces of paper in my hand, like, and I feel like when I write something, I do that with lines sometimes too. If I write it, like it's something about helps me get it in my system, and so like I can recall it easier later. So I'm a big note taker. I'm like the best student,
Too.
like note taker. And it helps me keep organized. Like even if my desk looks like a shit show, like I have a lot of notes, it's still like it's a organized chaos. Like there's a method to the madness. It just works for me.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm the same way. Like the room I'm in now, it looks like a shit show, but I know where everything's at. I know
Oh,
that the
hmm.
notes, this, that. It's like it's organized chaos, as I like to say.
Yeah, yep, organized chaos.
So I was reading, which can be scary. That people wanted me to know to read and write, etc. But going back, you actually loved musical theater and acting from a young age, something like first grade.
Love. Yeah. Yeah, I think I wanted to be a singer before I wanted to be an actor. And we're talking like in the first couple years of life. I just would sing and I would probably sing like really terribly. No, I had an okay voice. Since this autoimmune stuff, I lost it the past 2 years. But um, yeah, I loved musical theater. And my voice was okay. Like I made things at a young age. And then I got to college and I didn't make anything. And I was devastated. I was like, oh my gosh, I made the wrong choice. Like I need to figure out something else to do in college. Like I was panicking and staying any longer would require me to be there longer. And I was like, nope, get the theater and communications degree and get out. But like my last year, I would say, of college, I took a film class and I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just more like more natural, like quieter, like, and not the music part, unfortunately, but I really fell in love with that avenue of acting, and the rest is history.
So I know people talk about this, but probably not enough. But obviously, there is a separation between Nicole, the person who we're sitting here now with, but also Nicole, the professional.
Hmm.
And are you, and shit happens across the board with the wacky business that the entertainment business is. Are you able to leave the stuff at the door professionally that would drive most people bonkers? And when you come home, and I don't know your personal life, obviously, but whether you come home to a husband or boyfriend, kids, you know what I mean? You come home to the personal life.
Gosh, that sounds like a lot. No, it's just
No, but
me.
you know what I'm saying? Are you able to leave the stuff at the door that when you come
Yeah.
home and come through our front door to whatever life is for you, are you able to keep that separate?
Mm. I would say yes. And that's not a perfect thing. Like that's not an absolute thing. And I know when I was younger, I wasn't very good at keeping it separate. Like I would feel things and I would feel them so deep that it might mess me up for like a few days, you know? But positive outlets, I'm a big journaler, talking with friends about it, like especially friends that are also in the industry that get it. Like you could just be like, man, can you believe this thing? And even doing that, like kind of helps it along and kind of get out and move forward so I can like just operate in my daily life and just have that. But now, like in my later years, like things like that are much quicker to turn over. Like if something happens, you're like, well, I can't really do anything about that. Or if somebody's being shitty, like I can't really do anything about that. But what I can do is like distance myself from it and like just be like, okay, that is what it is, and I accept that and I move forward, which is great. Like there's a lot of work involved to get to that point, and I've done the work, but again, it's not always positive or it's not always like an absolute thing. So, I might have a little harder getting over that thing from that one time, and that's
Like,
kind of
well, how
happens.
much of that would you say is, let's say, and I'll use Camp Dread there for an example. You said I was a 23-year-old kid at the time, and that was what, 2000, shot that in 2010, came out
Yeah.
2012. But compared to where we are now, how much of what you were just saying maybe is just a maturity thing? That, hey, okay, I'm in my 30s. I mean, you're in a different place
100%.
mentally and maturity wise. And, I mean, you're in a different stage than you were at that point.
Yes. I think
How much does that factor into?
everything. It's everything, right? It's not only time but it's also experiences, right? It's having experiences and have it in life and them affecting you and changing you. And that's either going to change you for the better, or it's going to change you for, a different way. But that's all relative, it's all part of who I am today. And I'm, a lot of it was like spoon-fed growth, and like sometimes it was like too much, like I need a break, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't change any of it because I'm in such a better state of mind today, about life and everything that, things that happen and, turning it over quickly or whatever. But yeah, it's a maturity thing. But, you hear that. It's like, oh, that person has never changed. Like, and they, maybe they didn't have the experiences I've had or others have had. It's all, everybody's journey is different. And I feel like, some people come out the gate like very mature and already in that space, Um, it's just very interesting. Like just the condition of being a human being is very interesting.
Yeah. Would you say you're the best version of yourself as we sit this morning, or?
I would, yes.
I mentioned earlier about directing Porcelain, and we got into that writing, directing, and wearing multiple hats. But which direction would you see yourself going in the future? Because I say this tongue in cheek because it's the way I took it on your social media and I'll be sharing the IG. But
Mm.
you mentioned about semi-retired actor, performer, all that stuff. But within the industry, is there a certain direction you see yourself going, whether it be writing, acting, directing? Is there, or we open to multiple lanes as you've done?
I guess it would depend on the project. First and foremost, acting, I would just continue doing, like if I had to pick one, it would be acting. But I'm producing or have produced a documentary in the last year. We actually were the other day, we're like, oh my God, it's been a year since we shot that, and we're doing the film festival circuit with it and everything. So I solely just produced that, and that was the right project for me to produce. And if somebody wanted me to direct their project, I would totally sign up to do that. Again, I don't know if I would ever do multiple roles at the same. It's easier to produce and act than it is to direct and act and produce. So I'm open. It just depends on the project.
Right on. And I want to close out with something, I guess, more personal, because I had asked you on that same, like when you gave a description of yourself. I sent you a text yesterday because you mentioned about being a big advocate of breast cancer and things like that. So, was it personal experience that you became an advocate for different things, or was it just you know, this type of organization and support hits your heart?
It's from um,
Okay.
personal experience. Yes. So 2022, I found a lump and I was on that, like, follow up in 6 months. I happened to be back east taking care of another health issue. And it ended up being breast cancer, super early, stage 1A. I just had to do like surgery and radiation. Um, but that messes you up. And I know you have your personal
I had mine,
experience.
yeah.
And you're fast tracked once you're diagnosed. It's like, okay, this is your plan of action, and then within 2 months, well, once radiation is a few more months, but like next month you're getting surgery, and then a month after that you're fast tracked.
Everything goes so quickly. It's
And like, I'm just like breaking down at points, and my dad's like, what? Like, what do he didn't understand. And I'm just like, I'm trying to catch up with like that, like what just happened, like, I don't know how to explain that to anybody that doesn't know and hasn't been through it. It's a, are we allowed to curse on here? It's a
yeah,
mind.
it's a mind fuck. Yeah.
It's a mind fuck. Like, and I don't know if I am 2 years out survivor. I don't even know if my entire brain still processed everything that happened, because I was done radiation and I was starting my immunotherapy, and like I had terrible symptoms. And then 2 weeks after that, my entire body was like hit with a brick, and I knew it was autoimmune, and they wanted to say fibromyalgia and this and that, but I've been in an autoimmune state for over 2 years now. October was 2 years. Um, and that was another mind fuck. I'm like, what is my body doing? Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
But I'm on medicine for that, so hopefully that starts working soon. But it's just, there's so much that happens that people are going through. And that's the thing. I mean, anymore, you're just like, well, I had cancer, or my friend has cancer, my mom, my dad, it's just all around us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I met somebody who did not have somebody in their life with cancer.
Yeah.
And that's scary. I mean, what's happening in our state, like I want to say our country, because I know that in Europe and stuff, they have better food and, access to lesser chemicals and stuff in their foods. And I think that is a main factor of why there's so much heartache here with the cancer.
Yeah. I've told my story, but yeah, like you said, from the time from jump, let's just say that you noticed, the lump, et cetera, and you do your tests and all that. And that's why I've always been, hey, make sure you do your follow-ups, make sure you do, your annual checkups, and, just, you got to be on top of your,
You have to.
but, that's the biggest thing. Just get your annual test. No guy, girl, doesn't matter. Just do all that stuff.
Do what you're
But
supposed to do. Don't put it off.
yes. And listen to your body is the other thing.
Yes, that's everything.
Your body will give you the signs and tell you if something's good or bad, It
Yes.
tells you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious to know, and you don't have to tell me, and thank you for being open and honest about it.
100%.
But with your lump, was it something you noticed, or was it just like, hey, I'm going to go for my annual physical, or how was it discovered?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do breast exams, because like usually you're going like once a year to go get, everything checked and whatever. So I would do self checks, and I found a lump, and I was like, oh, that's like weird. And
That's not my normal,
Yeah, that's not my normal. And I actually was getting, which was very interesting, I was getting radiating pain. Sometimes I would double over because there was just this radiating pain happening. So I was like, that's not normal. But every lump and bump and cranny and nook, because I have very cystic tissue in my breast. So I get it looked at. They do an ultrasound. This has been over the course of me being an adult woman. And this time they just said, like, in the what would you get back? It was like probably
Your results and stuff, yeah.
results, yeah, and they said in parentheses, most likely benign tumor, and but I can't do anything about that. I have to wait 6 months for a follow-up ultrasound and at that time a mammogram, which was wild.
But no, I'm glad you're doing well
Thank
with
you.
everything as we speak. But let's end on a little more positive note. You
Yes.
know, what we are sitting here almost at Halloween of 2025. What does the rest of the year look like for you? And what do you see 2026 being for yourself?
Um, so and maybe you feel this in your own lives. Like since all this health stuff, like I just my overall goal is to like live and fill my life up with good things and good people. And for the rest of the year, I hope to get out to California just for a visit in November, maybe early December. So I would like to do that, and I'd like to get new headshots because all my headshots are with dark hair, um, and and get back into actively looking for acting gigs. So that's kind of the rest of the year. So in 2026, my big goal is to go to Europe, and things are aligning right now where it's going to work out that I'll be in Italy for my 40th birthday. And that's next October. So I'm excited.
So, is that because of like you said, you're Italian of descent, or was it
Yeah.
just I want to go see Italy?
Yes. I no, it's the Italian descent. And it looks beautiful. I see it in like movies and I'm like, I gotta go. And that was kind of I don't know if you did this. It's like an inventory check. It's like I came out of the health stuff and I'm looking at my life and I had big goals for myself and nothing was accomplished yet. Like a lot was accomplished, but not those like traveling. I'd like to get a Yorkie, like these things that would, be for me. I brush aside because I'm chasing after this thing, I'm working, working, working. And I think we're ingrained to be that way, especially in the United States. Work, 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 make money, make money, make money. But you forget that there's a bigger picture and it's to like
Yeah.
live your life, enjoy your life, and fill it up with good things. So I'm getting back to that, and that's my main focus. And so, it makes all this worth it.
Yep. Yeah. And I, not to go down that rabbit hole again, I also noticed that I thought differently. I was thinking on a different level coming out of my stuff, as
Mhm.
far as like a certain, I used the word maturity that I used earlier, that you're, unless you've been down certain roads like that I went down, that you went down, other people that we may or may not have known have dealt
Mhm.
with, like you were saying, whether it be cancer or whatever the case is, serious health issues. I just think you look at things differently. Would you agree with that?
I would. I would. You can't not be changed by it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I came out of it and I was like, oh, light bulb. It was like I hit
It
rock
was
bottom.
subtle, you know.
Yeah, it was like I was in such a dark place around it. I lost my mom to pancreatic in 2017. And I was like, how does that like on a bigger, greater scale? I'm like, how does that happen? Like two people, one family, like, and it's things people deal with all the time, but
Yeah.
experiencing it personally, I was like, what's happening here? Like, why? There was that big WHY hanging above my head, and I got really down and out about it. But you take it one day at a time, one step at a time, like you said, gradual thing. And, I would say I'm in my best version of myself today, because of what I've been through.
Yeah. Because of your battle scars, that's for sure. But Nicole, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you. And thanks to everybody who's been listening. And if you want to reach out, I'm on social media. You can tell me your story if you need help with if you're going through cancer or anything, autoimmune, like, and you want to talk about it, I'm always here. I always have an ear for you. So thank you.
And her Instagram will be in the link or the links for this episode. So check it out.
Nicole Cinaglia, yeah, but it'll be there. Cinaglia is a doozy.
Yes, it is.
Hey folks, looking for the ultimate destination for the nerd enthusiasts and collectors?